Mike, can we just say one thing now about Washington? I mean, what is this franchise doing? Jay Gruden, after the game, standing solidly behind Case Keenum with his 5 turnovers yesterday and his first-round pick on the bench. And look, we're not there every day. And Chris would be a great person to ask, to discuss this. We're not there every day. But how possibly, with such a depressing, gut-crunching, awful performance on Monday night, do you say to your fan base, yep, we're going up to the Giants, and it's a battle of bad teams in the NFC East, and we're going to throw Case Keenum at the Giants? Boy, I'll tell you what, that's going to inspire confidence in your fan base. And so we don't know if this quarterback, if Dwayne Haskins is ready, and I understand that. But all I know is that here's what I've seen out of this team this offseason. They got into a squabble with their franchise left tackle. He's still not there. And what in the world are you holding on to him for? Why didn't you cash that lottery ticket in with Houston on Labor Day weekend? No, we are going to stand solid and Trent Williams will come back. They look like fools. It's an utterly preposterous way to run your organization. And now you've got your first round pick that you take, and he's not playing because for some reason at 0-3 you want to stand behind Case Keenum and his 5 turnover performance. I mean, this is a moribund franchise, and I don't know how those fans can be anything but, sort of destitute right now.
And listen, it's hard for me to argue against anything you said there. I mean, you're right. The Redskins are a mess. There's nothing I can really say. The one thing I don't like about it is that it gets blamed on Jay Gruden. I will defend him a little bit because a lot of issues you just talked about are not Jay Gruden issues. There are other people within the organization. Jay Gruden's just the one that has to be put there out on TV with his face on the screen looking like he's responsible for everything that's going on there. I think with the quarterback situation, we're very close to Dwayne Haskins' time. He is raw. We saw that in the preseason. Leading into last night, Case Keenum had played good football. He had given them opportunities. I mean, it was 5 touchdowns, 0 interceptions the first 2 weeks. Last night was a disaster. There's no doubt. He threw some dumb interceptions. He had some bad pocket presence, But again, they're another team. I checked the rule book. They're allowed to run the ball with some success too. They can't do anything. So they were overmatched. And I think that Jay Gruden is trying to show a little loyalty to Case Keenum after the game, but I don't know if that'll happen today once they watch back the film and maybe Daniel Snyder and some other people get involved in the conversation to go, what are we doing, to Peter's point? What are we doing? We're 0-3. We're not going to the Super Bowl. Let's start the new era. Let's start it this week against that crappy Giants defense and see if Dwayne Haskins can't get out there and do something positive.
And that's right. It's a perfect time to do it.
Chris.
You can rain on Daniel Jones' parade. Go ahead.
Yeah. Hey, look. But the one thing that Chris just said that I think is very, very important, Case Keenum is only a bridge to Dwayne Haskins.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's not necessarily the George Washington bridge. It's not a long bridge. You don't have to do it for 17 weeks. And it's shown now they're going nowhere this year. And unless Dwayne Haskins is not ready to play, it's time to play Dwayne Haskins.
Yeah, and look, if you're going to use the 15th overall pick in the draft on Dwayne Haskins, he'd better be ready to play. It's on the coaching staff to get him ready to play. And this may be that tension that we see from time to time where there's a head coach who knows the clock is ticking on him and he'd rather try to win as many games as he can. So he's willing to go with a guy that he thinks gives him a better chance to win, even though it hasn't worked so far, instead of rolling the dice on the rookie. But I think they're getting closer to the point where they got to go with Haskins. And, Booger McFarland last night, Peter, was pointing out, and you pick up, some of the things that the broadcasting crew will glean from talking to people in the organization as a primetime game approaches. I got the distinct impression that Booger McFarland's under the belief that the clock is ticking very loudly on Jay Gruden, and the switch to Dwayne Haskins comes after Gruden is gone.
I mean, that could be. Look, he now is 15 below 500 in 5 or in 6 years. He hasn't won a playoff game. It's amazing how long Daniel Snyder has stayed with him. And look, I like Jay Gruden, and I think he is a good football coach. But in the NFL, you're paid to produce results. And I'm not saying that any good would come of firing him, and I'm not even suggesting that they should fire him. All I'm saying is that, this is a franchise that is totally messed up right now. We're only 3 games into the season, and I don't know that there's any franchise in the NFL that can be less optimistic right now than Washington is.
As our good friend Big Cat says, dysfunctional teams do dysfunctional things, whether it's using the wrong quarterback, stirring the Gatorade with a sleeve of cups still wrapped in plastic, or spelling London Fletcher's name wrong on the Jumbotron last night when they honored him.
What? They did that? What?
They spelled London Fletcher's name wrong.
How did they spell it wrong?
Hey, at least they didn't call him Kurt, right? F-L-E.
What they spell it? P-A-R-I-S?
Oh my gosh!
What was it, Mike?
It was the T and the C were flipped, but that's okay. It was only on the giant Jumbotron for thousands to see.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.